It's just rain coming down hard. I don't think there's any wind. Well, folks, I tell you what, the beginning of June was definitely quite the stormy start for quite a few areas here in Michigan, that's for sure. Now, that video that you guys just saw, that was unrelated to the videos I took on June 10th and June 11th, and so was this video that I'm showing you guys. But, you know, this was definitely another interesting storm that I recorded. But anyways, that's a subject matter for another time. On June 10th and June 11th of 2026, two different severe storms would come through. And let me tell you, while the second one really didn't give us strong wind, the first one did, and while thankfully it didn't last long and the wind died down pretty quick, it was still pretty gusty. There wasn't a whole lot of thunder and lightning from what I heard, but it still got bad for, you know, a little bit. This right here is the June 11th severe storm. Now this one, while there wasn't a crap ton of thunder and lightning at first, there would eventually start being some lightning, and you might hear a little bit of thunder. Otherwise, just the beginning of this storm, it was probably one of the craziest starts to a storm that I've ever seen in quite a long time. And I've been recording storms for going on a decade for my YouTube channel. Well, there was another time where I did see a cloud like this. Probably like maybe sometime in 2024. Unfortunately, I did not record it. Well, I recorded the storm, but I didn't record the beginning of it, unfortunately, because I was getting ready for work. But thankfully, the 2 days that I recorded the two storms, I was not working. We unfortunately got held up with some of the jobs that we were doing, so unfortunately I had to hold off. You know, I work for a building contractor, for those who don't know. But yeah, this was the beginning of the first storm that hit. You could see the trees, you know, the branches shaking a bit. You know, the wind was blowing on them big time. You know, you could see some dirt that was being blown across the road. You know, it was chaotic. And about a few seconds after I recorded this clip, one of our tree branches came down. Now, mind you, I was standing underneath the tree. I was on the other side of it, but still, you know, I was close enough. And this was definitely scary, that's for sure. Thankfully, though, we do have chainsaws, and we were able to get that chopped up and, you know, stacked up somewhere. So thankfully, you know, we got this taken care of pretty quick. As far as the first storm goes, I do not believe that there were any tornadoes reported in Michigan that day. Other states may have had a few tornadoes, but I don't believe Michigan had any. The second day, though, June 11th, I did hear about a few possible tornadoes that occurred in Michigan. Otherwise, it was mostly Illinois and Indiana that were getting hit. You know, areas like Strader, Illinois, Hebron, Coates, or Coates, however you say that town in Indiana, or Hebron. I don't know how to pronounce those town names, but that was one of the areas that got hit pretty hard with, I believe they said it was an F3 tornado. Yeah, this tornado right here. I'm not going to play any videos of this tornado because I do not own the rights to those videos. Yeah, this was a bad tornado that tore through Couts area, and it destroyed homes, knocked out tall power lines. When I looked at the research, as far as I know, I have not heard anything about fatalities. Whether or not there were injuries, that's beyond me. I didn't hear much about that either, but as far as I heard, I didn't hear anything about fatalities. So for that, I was thankful for. But yeah, these were the cross-country power lines that were knocked over by the tornado that hit Couts area. That's for sure. This is a Google Maps screenshot that I took about a day or two after the tornadoes that hit Illinois and Indiana, and you could see that, you know, it was posted northwestern Indiana tornadoes. You know, there were a few non-violent tornadoes that happened in this area, but still, I mean, there were still a few bad tornadoes, unfortunately. While there were talk of possible tornadoes that did happen in Michigan, I unfortunately never learned exactly where they hit, but there were definitely a few tornado warnings that were put out this night. When I did a little bit of research, I heard something about, you know, an area in Kent County and another area in Berry County that might have gotten hit by possible tornadoes, but that's as far as I'm aware. At one point when I was watching a live stream from Michigan Storm Chasers, I believe they said that, you know, they thought that there was a possible tornado near Dundee, which was about a few hours away from where I was living. You know, they were getting hit with 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but at one point, you know, when they were looking at a camera in downtown Dundee, there was a spot where you could see power flashes, you know, meaning, you know, transformer explosions on power lines and all, you know. So at that point, they thought that there was a tornado that came through. I did try and do some research about that, and I didn't really see much information about that. But, I mean, it's possible there could have been a tornado there as well, and, you know, maybe there just wasn't a whole lot of information put out about it. While I didn't save much information about the first storm that hit, I did save some of the information that was put out about the June 11th storm. You know, quite a few areas in Michigan, from Bay County all the way to the Michigan-Indiana, Ohio state lines. Quite a few areas in northern Indiana, quite a few areas in east central Illinois. I highly apologize about that. I just clicked the screen and it zoomed in, so my apologies. And then about 4 counties in northwest Ohio were under a tornado watch. You know, the biggest cities that were affected by this tornado watch was Grand Rapids, Fort Wayne, Lansing, Flint, South Bend, and a few other areas. These 2 storms are definitely storms that I will not forget about anytime soon. Yeah, I figured it'd be worth doing a storm documentary video of these 2 storms. You know, because the first one started off with strong wind, and the second one started off with this insane looking shelf cloud. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys the title of this video, and then before I show you guys the videos, I do need to come out with an unfortunate statement. But in other words, you guys are watching my June 10th and June 11th severe storms in Van Buren County, Michigan video. Real quick before I get any further with the video, I do want to take time to talk about something that was really unfortunate that happened. So the day that I recorded the June 10th storm, there were unfortunately some passings in my family that happened. The first passing that happened was my cousin Zach. His full name was Zachary John Paul Happel. About an hour or so after I got done doing some filming for the first storm that came through, I would unfortunately receive a call from one of my other cousins that he had passed away. I'm not going to get into full detail on what all happened, because, you know, that's something I'm going to be talking about in a few other videos, but basically, he had been dealing with heart-related issues his entire life. You know, he was born with a really bad heart problem, and there were a few other times where, you know, he wasn't doing so well, and the doctors thought he wouldn't have long to live. Thankfully, those other times he pulled through and he was perfectly fine. In late 2024, doctors said that he wouldn't have too much longer to live and he would end up living throughout 2025 and then the beginning, you know, the first half of 2026, and then unfortunately his problems got way too bad and there really wasn't much that doctors could do for him, and as a result he unfortunately passed away on June 10th of 2026. Unfortunately, the sad story doesn't stop there. About half an hour or so after receiving the devastating phone call about my cousin Zach, I would receive another phone call that my great aunt Melissa had passed away as well from cancer. She unfortunately had been dealing with cancer on and off a few times. I remembered hearing, I believe either last summer or the summer before, that she had cancer, and I really didn't hear much from that point on. I thought she was doing all right, but unfortunately about a week or so before Easter, while I was at this gathering, I heard a conversation that one of my other great uncles were having, where they were talking that they saw her and she was in a pretty bad way. Like, she wasn't doing so well, and when they talked to my great uncle about it, he mentioned that she was stage 4 cancer. As far as I'm aware with her, you know, I guess her cancer came back the beginning of 2026, and it accelerated pretty bad. Like, you know, she couldn't fight through it the best, unfortunately. So, yeah, as a result, she unfortunately passed away. You know, if you would have asked me years ago if I thought that it was possible to lose 2 different family members from 2 different things in the same day, I probably would have told you that it'd be unlikely to happen. But the unfortunate reality is it did happen, which is pretty sad. And, you know, while I wasn't really close with my cousin Zach or my great aunt Melissa, you know, I do miss them already. You know, my heart aches for some of my other family that was closer to them. About the only time I would ever really see them is when I went to a big family gathering. And, you know, mind you, we usually have about 3 or 4 of those each and every year. So it wasn't often that I saw them. However, it does still sadden me that they are no longer with us, you know, because regardless if I was close with them or not, you know, cancer or, you know, heart-related problems is not something that I would ever wish to happen to anybody, regardless of how I feel about that specific person. And regardless if they're close family or not, they are still family. And, you know, that's something that, you know, I will never forget about, you know, because regardless if they're close or not, I mean, you know, I will still miss them for sure. You know, unfortunately, I never really included my cousin Zach or my great aunt Melissa in any videos as far as I'm aware. I did go through some of my past videos to see if I could find any, and unfortunately I just could not find any, you know, which absolutely sucks, you know, but it is what it is, you know. Regardless, they were both still there on many occasions, so I mean, that's what counts in my opinion. But I mean, still, it doesn't take back what happened. And like I said a little bit ago, you know, my heart absolutely aches for some of their closer family. Again, like I've said a few times, you know, rest in peace to my cousin Zachary, John Paul Happel, and my great aunt Melissa Starbuck. You two will be missed, and I will never forget about you guys. Rest in peace to the both of you. Alright, getting on to the subject matters with all that being said. So for the first storm, you know, about a few hours or so prior to the first storm rolling in, you know, I'd be notified from a few people that I know that live in Wisconsin and Iowa that there was a storm coming towards me, and you know, they said that it was pretty crazy in some of their areas. So about an hour or so prior to the storm rolling in, I was trying to get myself prepared for the storm because you know, of how bad they were talking it was going to be. And you know, I had my phone camera on me. You know, I had my other camera I had upstairs in my room because I was trying to put together a big video, which was my mid-April to Independence Day vlog that I uploaded to my channel almost 2 weeks ago. So because I only had my phone on me, you know, I would only record with my phone, but you know, thankfully I still had plenty of storage space left, and my phone takes pretty good videos for most part. So, you know, for that I could not complain about. But yeah, you know, I spent about an hour or so preparing for the storm before it rolled in. And let me tell you, when it first rolled in, it definitely caught me way off guard with how bad it was. And yes, I was notified on how bad it was going to be, but I did not expect it to be anywhere near as bad as what they were saying it was. And while it wasn't the worst in my area by any means, you know, it still took out one of our branches, and it was way worse east of us, that's for sure. They got hit way harder. But yeah, with all that being said, I'm going to show you guys the video of the first storm, the June 10th storm. And yeah, let's get to it. apologize for that, but got some darker clouds rolling in. Trying to hurry up and get my previous long video put together so that way I can get that up. If my freaking camera will focus, come on. Anyway, sorry about that. Now if my camera will focus, try and get my other video put together so I can get that uploaded and out of the way. Yeah. We'll see what this weather does. Got some darker clouds rolling in now. Alright, I gotta run in and take care of a few things real quick before the worst of this rolls in. Alright. Oh boy. Alright, well, we just had a branch come down. Holy crap. And I was underneath that tree too.
I'm scared.
We're okay, Nat. We're alright.
Oh my god.
Nat, we're okay. But here, let's get away from the back in case this tree decides to go down. Oh boy. Holy crap, man. Oh my gosh. Doesn't look like it dung up the fence on that, but holy crap. Or not the fence, but the roof. Holy crap. Wow. Wow. Michigan storm chasers would not lie, and that frickin' took out one of our branches. Man. Oh, sad in my truck. Probably not the best idea. Oh, crap. Too bad my frickin' radio doesn't work. Holy crap, man. We're about to get hit hard with rain. Oh, come on. Come on, camera. Here we go. Woo! Yeah, I cannot believe how freaking gusty it got. I mean, yeah, it was to be expected, but holy crap, dude. I better go check my AC after this is done. And the thing, too, we're supposed to get another bad storm tomorrow night. Holy crap. I was standing right in that damn near almost right underneath that tree when that branch came down. Man. Stops raining for a sec, and then the second I go to roll my freaking window down, it starts raining again. Boy. Well, their basketball hoop got knocked over. Oh, man. camera. Don't get tangled in that. Wow. Cannot believe how bad it got. Boy. I got a bad feeling that's going to produce tornadoes. It wouldn't surprise me if I heard reports of tornadoes happening. I already know it. To think I was standing right there, right about the time that came down. When I first heard that crackling noise, I thought it was one of the other branches on the other side of the tree. I was literally running right towards the deck as that branch was coming down. That could have been a branch right above me, and I could have gotten hurt or killed. Thank you, Jesus, for watching over me. And also a thank you to my step-uncle that lives with us too, because he was shouting to get my attention. Yeah. I have something in my truck I could cut the small branches off with. Might try and do that. Alright, yeah, there were times where that storm definitely got intense, that's for sure. And I was super thankful I wasn't standing on the opposite side of that tree, because man, that could have been bad. And while the branch, the one side of the branch was still being held up, there were still pieces of wood that broke off and was landing right next to the tree. So I mean, if it wasn't the branch that would have taken me out while standing on that side of the tree, it definitely could have been that right there. That's for sure. With that being said, this is where the second storm would come in, the June 11th storm. Prior to the second storm coming in, I would take videos of us working on the branch that tried to come down. I would pull the branch down using my truck. I had a rope tied to the hitch of my truck, and I would go and shake the branch a few times until it got knocked over, and that worked out perfectly. Took like quite a few tries, but thankfully my brother took a video of the branch being pulled off the tree and onto the ground. So shout out to my brother Logan for taking that video. But after pulling that down, I had to run to Pawpaw to go drop my sister off with my aunt over in Pawpaw. And then on my way back, I would film a little bit of rain, and I would also do some backtracking as well, because I wanted to see what the weather was doing. And while it pretty much just rained and there was a little bit of wind, there were times where I thought that it was going to start storming like crazy, because I thought that that was going to be the beginning of the storm that was approaching. That would not be the case. I would drive down a few back roads in eastern Lawrence Township, and there was a few things that I was checking out anyways, because, there was a few things that were proposed for Lawrence Township, such as, I believe, a solar field or something like that. And then I know Consumers Energy and American Electric Power have been trying to come up with a high voltage power line plan. Originally, back in 2023, Consumers Energy was supposed to put together a power line project that was supposed to go from a huge power station over by Mattawan to a new power station in Lawrence, but that plan ended up being changed and opposed because the residents of Van Buren County weren't too happy about it. So, that plan ended up being scrapped, and I know the spokesman of Consumers Energy said that he was going to try and work out a deal with American Electric to try and, figure out another power line project, which they did end up building a new power station from, or just east of Lawrence. It connects to American Electric's lines, which Lawrence Township is powered by Consumers Energy, but, because Lawrence is surrounded by 3 other townships that are powered by American Electric and Midwest Energy, they're kind of limited on power options. So I don't know if all that stuff that was going on in the fields by Lawrence had anything to do with that power line project or whatnot, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. That being said, I don't mean to get off subject, but about a little while or so after I came home from Paw Paw and Lawrence, I would start getting notifications that the storm was about to roll in, and believe it or not, there was actually 2 storms that came through this day. The second one ended up hitting us with its tail end, as the worst of it just stayed in Berrien and Cass County. But that one would kind of make its way towards Detroit area. But the second storm that stayed south of us, that's the one that would produce the tornadoes in Illinois and Indiana. But, still, my main focus was with this storm that was hitting us, because, it just, the way that it looked before hitting us, it just looked like it was later on in the day once the shelf cloud got past us. It was still a bit light out prior to the cloud hitting us, and then after it passed us, it just, it got a little darker, that's for sure. For most part, while the storm was going through, I would sit in my truck and I would have a live stream going from Michigan Storm Chasers. I was listening to them for most part while recording this storm. I did try and submit some of the photos I took of the shelf cloud to them, but unfortunately I don't, because they got backed up on messages from other people. I don't know if they ever saw my photos or not, but still, it was just quite a storm at times. And while it wasn't the worst in my area, there was quite a bit of rain, a little bit of wind here and there, and then later on we'd get hit with the tail end of the other storm, and I would start seeing some thunder and lightning. Or start seeing lightning and hearing thunder, excuse me, my apologies. But yeah, I would record that storm for quite a while. I think the last video I took was probably about 1 or so, maybe 12:30. I do mention it in the video, but you know, I haven't really went back through the video and listened. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna show you guys some videos I took before the storm and then show you guys videos of the storm.
I take that down. Come on, baby. Come on, Mikey, go. What you doing?
Wait on it. Like a tooth.
Ah. There it is. There.
Had to run to Paw to go take my little sister to my aunt and uncle. Looks like we are about to get hit with something. Just coming into Lawrence Township now. Do something over here. So I've been seeing construction signs up all over the place, and they built a new power station here. And they got some tractors right there. I heard something about a data center, which I hope is not the case. They built a new power center, or power station. It looks like they were about to add some new lines. My gosh, it's starting to get windy. Like hell, I get out of these trees before wind picks up. I don't know if the wind will pick up right now. There you go. Yeah, they're doing something right there and right there as well. My camera would focus. I bet you whatever they're building that power station for probably has something to do with this. Come on, if my camera would focus. Yeah.
150,000 points in experience reward with Chase Sapphire Reserve. decided to pursue my master's. With my experience, I was approved to go into the competency-based master's degree that only took 1 year. And it didn't take away from my everyday life. For my kids to speak highly of me, it means the world. It means the world.
So, I think the threat today is highest in southwest Michigan, but that line will still crank wind across.
All right. Got the branch that came down, knocked over and chopped up. The wind stopped, thankfully, and so did the rain. But we're not out of the woods yet. What we got to brace ourselves for still has yet to come. Yeah. Get that raked up and then wheelbarrow those over to the log splitter. We're not going to split them today, but still. Look at that. Might want to hide, cat. There's a storm coming in here in a little while. Yeah. Well, folks, 5 mile, no warnings so far in our area, but about 15 minutes ago, a tornado watch was issued for almost everywhere in southern Michigan. Allegan County, which is 5 miles north of us, is under a severe thunderstorm warning. And then, almost looks like there's something over there. Maybe a shelf cloud or something. I'll have to keep an eye on that. So far, the only county that's under a tornado warning is Ottawa County. So, yeah, that's 2 counties north of us. Well, guys, 4 minutes later, Michigan Storm Chasers and National Weather Service in Grand Rapids just issued us a severe thunderstorm warning. Oh my gosh. Wow. That looks crazy. Oh my gosh. I have not seen clouds like that in a while. That is insane. Sorry about my heavy breathing, everybody. I'm just nervous right now. I just hope it doesn't take down any more of our branches. Oh, I feel the wind getting cooler. Wow. Wind is starting to pick up. Alright, I had to switch to my tablet camera because my phone memory was getting low. See if I can get that one live stream going. Here we go. Maybe. Oh, my volume's not up, that's why. I don't know, it's still connected to my headphones. Hold on.
Yes. I have returned. Okay. Can you share your screen and get the Hudsonville cam up as soon as possible? Sir, it is live. What happened? Wait for it. You tried it.
Oh my gosh. That's what just passed us. Oh my gosh. There you go, I repositioned the truck a little bit. I hope my little sister's doing okay. I guess there's a possible tornado near Hudsonville area. Whether or not it's confirmed, I don't know.
Byron Road at 32nd. If I switch over to storm relative velocity.
I was trying to frickin' submit some of the photos I took before the storm.
Tornado transmission.
Uh-oh.
Very significant winds still happening in Hudsonville.
Alright, what was that? Oh shoot, Berrien County's under a tornado warning. We're not far from there.
We're getting hit by the light over here, I think. Yeah. Keep down the trees over here. I mean, trees are still moving pretty good.
Got how fast that's moving.
Next up is going to be Byron Center Cam. Oh, look at it right now. Heaviest winds occurring right now. Yep.
Apparently part of Kent County is under a tornado warning now. on earth was that? I don't know if you guys just heard that loud bang. Sounded like it was coming from that way. Sounded like something knocking over a tree, snapping or something.
Grand Rapids cam over on Plainfield that's facing more to the north, opposite direction, but that is also an option. So if you're just tuning in, looking at the zoomed out view, every orange box with a red outline you see on your screen is a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. That means 70-mile-per-hour winds are possible within this Boeing segment. That is the only hazard, of course. Brief tornadoes are
Got some rain rolling in.
Nick and Sydney are here at the office with us, or they might be taking off here pretty shortly. They assisted with the balloon launches down here tonight.
Hopefully my video doesn't get flagged for having a live stream playing. The live stream from Michigan Storm Chasers. I trust them more than any of the news stations around me. Occasionally I'll watch Ryan Hall y'all and Max Velocity as well, but
I'll see if I can quit horsing around over here and get it up on my laptop and just run it a minute here on the side. Time right now, if you're watching, it is 9:14.
oh boy. I guess there's more than one thunderstorm. Oh, my stepmom texted me. We're not all the way through yet, comma. I think there might be another storm coming, and it's coming from Chicago over New Buffalo and Three Oaks right now, period. Yeah, there's one storm that came from Milwaukee. I think it's over Grand Rapids right now. Not trying to freak her out, but I don't want to lie either. Alright, roll my window up. The lightning's picking up too. Oh, some lightning in that direction.
South of 84th. You can see distinct red and green curling in and out of each other right here about 3 to 4 miles west of Caledonia, heading straight for downtown Caledonia. Current trajectory looks like it's pretty much due east. Not any tornado warning, by the way, in Caledonia, but would not be surprised if you get another one soon. It would be heading off towards Alto, Freeport, and eventually Clarksville in extreme southwestern Ionia County.
Alright, it's pretty dark out right now, but still raining a little bit right now, but I'm gonna try and hurry up and get dogs let out real quick so that way they don't do their business in the house. You know what I mean? But we got more stuff coming. So, I just saw a lightning bug. Dang, I didn't catch it on video. That was cool. Alright. A little while later, I just got done taking care of dogs. I started back up watching Michigan Storm Chasers live stream, and I guess their live stream was having some issues. I guess right now there's a possible tornado in Cass County, which is south of me. Earlier they were talking possible tornadoes in Ottawa County, and I believe, whoa, possibly in Kent County too. Maybe Ionia, but I don't know. Quite a lightning flash and a rumble of thunder. I don't want to jinx it yet because we're not out of the woods, but so far we haven't had wind anywhere near as bad as what we had yesterday. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. I probably just did. Because I'm just that horrible about it. But yeah. The air temperature's cooled down though. That's nice, at least. Well, Michigan Storm Chasers got their live stream going again. And of course I get an ad. Yeah, I had to switch to a Ryan Hall y'all live stream because they were having all sorts of issues, but they're good now. Eastern Cass County and pretty much all of St. Joseph County is under a severe thunderstorm warning now.
All St. Joseph County. So the red box here is your tornado warning. The good news is in the Lansing area, tornado warning has been dropped, but 60 to 70 mile per hour winds still continue through the east side of Lansing. I will say that lightning. It is lightning. Yeah, I think it's just the moisture content out there this evening. The good news is that with time, this line is slowly starting to weaken. As I mentioned, because once it gets to the I-75 corridor, it's really going to start to fall apart and fizzle out. Like we are seeing that right now in Shiawassee and Livingston County. Still, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. We're going to likely see all of Clayton County canceled here shortly. It does continue for Eaton, Berry. It does continue for portions of Indian County. Eaton and Berry are in the clear, is what I meant to say. Also, Kalamazoo and Battle Creek, no severe thunderstorm warnings for you, but some gusty winds and torrential downpours are moving through your neck of the woods. Cameras still live, Chandler?
Yes, sir.
Damage to roof siding and trees is possible. We're going to try the face cam again. If it starts lagging, I'm turning it off, so we'll see. But in Genesee County, you have probably another 20 minutes or so before it arrives at you guys. This is a severe thunderstorm warning well out in advance of the storms arriving. The good news is the overall presentation on radar is starting to look a lot weaker than it did as it was crossing through Ionia and Clinton counties. If we go back to the Grand Rapids radar, if it decides to load, there's a lot of data out there tonight. Every single pixel you see on radar is...
Yeah, this is what our tornado watch looked like.
Good idea.
Well, we're still in it. You know, it still looks like this. But yeah. From mid-Illinois all the way up as far north as Bay City, or Bay County at least. Yeah, it's touching 4 states. Most of it in Indiana and Michigan, but, you know, part of it in Illinois and Ohio as well.
A name without a face. This rotation is now very close to
Counties affected: Champaign, Christian, Coles, Douglas, Edgar, Macon, Moultrie, Piatt or Piatt, however you say it. 69 more counties. Cities at risk: Grand Rapids, Fort Wayne, Lansing, Flint, South Bend, and yeah.
In St. Joseph County, but also across the border here in the LaGrange region of Indiana. This is the
That's insane.
Watching out for, especially also extending up in the...
Oh guys, it's an hour later now. The weather's pretty much died down. It's pretty much just raining. The wind is blowing a little bit, but not bad. Probably like 10, 15, maybe 20 miles per hour. There isn't so much lightning either. I think the worst of the storms are the one that hit me while I was sitting in my truck. I think that's well into Michigan's thumb region, or it might even be in Ontario by now. And then the other storm that went south of me, I think that is maybe around Detroit, might actually be Windsor area now, also in Ontario. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think we're out of the woods now. Yeah, now I just gotta be on alert, see if there were any tornadoes that were actually reported. We won't know that for the next few days, but it's almost 1 a.m. Thankfully I don't have to work tomorrow, but still I'm getting tired, so we'll see what the next few days bring, that's for sure. Well folks, right now I am in the middle of working on this storm documentary, and there's another thunderstorm hitting us. I don't know if you guys heard any of the thunder while I was speaking earlier in the video, but yeah, this is not a part of the June 11th storm, I'm telling you right now. Ooh, that was bright. Yeah, I just did a shorts video on my YouTube channel of this storm. Oh man. Go figure. At least it's not bad, you know? That's for sure. Anyways, hopefully if I don't get caught off guard or jump into other subject matters. Yeah. That was definitely an interesting storm we had, and so was the June 10th storm. One thing I will make a correction on is when I, in the last clip where I said that the storms were at this point or that point, actually, as of the time I was making that video, the first storm that had hit me on June 11th was actually right over Detroit metro area. It was approaching Pontiac and would hit areas like Sterling Heights, Warren, part of Detroit, and a few other areas before crossing into Ontario. The other storm that went south of me, that was actually approaching Dundee. It'd be right after that last clip that I would chime back into Michigan Storm Chasers live stream, and the storm was approaching Dundee. That town was getting hit with 50-mile-per-hour winds, but when they were reviewing a building camera footage of a camera that was looking northwest in downtown Dundee, it just, the members of Michigan Storm Chasers were thinking that there was a tornado that might be over Dundee, and whether or not there was a tornado that actually occurred in Dundee, I am not 100% sure. That is information that I looked into, but I unfortunately never really found much information about that. There was quite a bit of storm damage that did happen north of Dundee, but other than that, I didn't hear anything else. I know Dundee is one of the areas that is known for getting quite a few tornadoes. A lot of the areas like in Michigan close to the state line, like Edwardsburg, Sturgis, Dundee, Adrian, Monroe, a lot of those areas, those are known to get some really bad storms, and at time even bad tornadoes too. On March 6th, there were 4 tornadoes that happened, and some of the counties close to the Indiana line, like Cass County, Berrien County, St. Joseph County, and one that would start in Northern Branch County but would cross into Calhoun County. As a matter of fact, there were 2 tornadoes in Calhoun County that day, because the one that started in Branch County, which was the Union City tornado, that tornado would cross into Calhoun County, and that tornado didn't last long. However, there would be another tornado that would form over Concha, and that one was an EF0, so that one wasn't very strong, but the one that hit Edwardsburg was an F1. The one that hit Three Rivers in St. Joseph County was an F2. And then the strongest tornado to hit Michigan this year and in the recent years was the Union City tornado. Usually when Michigan gets tornadoes, it doesn't get any stronger than an F1, but there have been a few F2s and a few F3s that have happened in Michigan, especially in the past few decades. Like prior to the Union City and Three Rivers tornado, the last F2 tornado we had was in Portage, Michigan on, I believe, May 7th of 2024. And the EF3 tornado that happened was in 2022 in Gaylord, Michigan. That's for sure. While I'm not 100% sure when the last EF4 tornado happened in Michigan, or if Michigan ever even had an EF4 tornado, the only EF5 tornado that ever hit Michigan was one that happened in Flint Beecher area. That tornado happened on June 8th of 1953. That tornado ended up injuring 844 people and killed 116 people. Actually, I do gotta make a correction. There were more than one F5 tornadoes that hit Michigan. There was another one that happened on April 3rd of 1956 that hit Hudsonville, Standale area. One of these days, I do plan to do a video for my channel talking about some of the stronger tornadoes that have happened here in Michigan, like EF3s, EF4s, EF5s, you know, stuff like that. I don't know when I will, but it's something I'm going to try and look into, and it's something that I want to do at some point, that's for sure. The June 10th and June 11th storms are definitely storms that I'm not going to forget about anytime soon. Like I said earlier in the video, as far as the tornadoes that happened in Illinois and Indiana, I do not recall hearing anything about fatalities. You know, I've looked into that time and time again, and I have not heard anything about that, which for that I am thankful for. You know, thank the good Lord above for that. As far as injuries, I am not too sure about that one exactly, but yeah, this storm, these storms could have been a lot worse, especially in my area and a few other areas, but thankfully they weren't. But also, that being said, my heart does go out to everybody that lost their homes or had their homes damaged quite a bit from the tornadoes that happened on June 10th or June 11th, excuse me, if I get my frickin' words and numbers right. One thing that I will say real quick is a lot of these videos that I took of these two storms, those videos will be included in an upcoming big video that I am working on right now, and we'll have uploaded, we'll put together and uploaded sometime after Independence Day. This video that I'm working on is going to be a late May to Independence Day vlog. I wanted to try and record some of the fireworks shows that are coming up real soon. The ones that I go to anyways, like the South Haven fireworks and also Gun Lake fireworks as well. I've been going to those two fireworks shows each and every year for a few years now. And those are two fireworks shows that I absolutely love going to, that's for sure. The big video that I'm working on will include the June 10th and June 11th storms, a few other storms that I recorded as well, a hot air balloon show that was going on in Hudsonville That one was called Hudsonville Balloon Days. Harbor Fest, which took place in South Haven. 2 other visits to South Haven. A few fireworks shows and a few other things, that's for sure. All that being said, I don't want to keep speaking, but yeah, this was my June 10th, June 11th, severe storms hitting Van Buren County, Michigan documentary, and that'll conclude this video. You guys all take care, be safe, and also happy early Independence Day, everybody. Be safe.